Hello and welcome back to FPL Hacks with me, Holly Shand. This is the final episode of the 21-22 season, and today I'll be looking at how to approach the final game week. Thank you so much everyone who has supported this series of videos this season. If you have enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it. So the final game week of the season always presents some quirks, and it's very important to think about how to set up your team to really maximise on those. The first thing to note is targeting those teams that have something to play for is really important in this final game week. We do see that teams in mid-table obscurity can tend to underperform, particularly away from home. So a home game for a side that have got lots to play for is really important in the final game week of the season. This season, it looks like it is all on the table on the final day, which is great to see. The title race is not sewn up yet, the race for top 4, top 6 and relegation. So there's plenty of teams and players to target in there, and particularly those sides at home. Manchester City and Liverpool both have home games on the final day, as do Chelsea at home to already relegated Watford. Pretty good fixture for them. Spurs travelling to Norwich, away fixture not quite as straightforward, but Norwich already relegated as well. Arsenal host Everton, who are in the relegation battle themselves. Manchester United travel to Crystal Palace as they look to secure a top 6 finish away from West Ham, who are also away at Brighton. And then at the opposite end of the table, we've got Leeds travelling to Brentford, a tough final fixture for them as they look to stay up, and Burnley hosting Newcastle. So plenty of places to look there in terms of teams that have something to play for. We've also got a lot of players that have something to play for as well. We've got Mo Salah and Heung-min Son going for the Golden Boot. There's just one goal in that right now. We've also got Alisson and Ederson tied on 20 clean sheets for the season, going for the Golden Glove. And then the Playmaker Award, Salah is one ahead of Trent for the number of assists. Remember, they aren't fantasy assists, they're the standard assists, so not getting assists for things like setting up a set piece that then leads to a goal. So targeting players that are in the mix for the Golden Glove, the Golden Boot or the Playmaker Award can also be something beneficial. Will we see Son on penalties on the final day of the season? Now, we can also see players that are maybe retiring or leaving their current club after a long time can also be good players to target. We've seen already this season Mark Noble having an outstanding send-off at West Ham. There's a few other players. Antonio Rudiger is out of contract at Chelsea. He could be one to target, having had 6 attacking returns this season. We could see Lacazette get the minutes from Nketiah for his final game in an Arsenal shirt. We've also seen Divock Origi getting some minutes for Liverpool at the end of the season. His final home game comes in game week 38 as well. Danny Welbeck is out of contracts at Brighton, and Fernandinho looks like he is going to be leaving Manchester City to go back to Brazil. His final game as a long-time player in that Man City squad, captain as well. Could we see him getting involved on the score sheet on the final day of the season? Now, in terms of other things to consider on the final day of the season, we've also got to bear in mind that there's been a lot of chips available to us to play this season. If you still have chips remaining, do not forget to activate them final week of the season. You can only use 1 per game week, but certainly a good time if you want to have a punt on a free hit, triple captain, get them used or lose them. And in terms of trying to make up ground on the final day of the season, if you are behind in mini leagues or hunting to make that big breakthrough in overall rank, having some punts on some differentials could really boost you up the rankings. You cannot go with the same squad as your rival and expect to beat them on final day. You can be a bit more experimental with captaincy. I think backing a Spurs player away at Norwich, particularly Son, but Kane if you own him, will probably be the most popular play this week. But if you're looking to go elsewhere and you think another player can outscore them, then that could be a good way of picking up ground. Sticking with Spurs, I really like Sessegnon as a differential in game week 38 away at Norwich. I also like the look of Liverpool's Luis Diaz, and Chelsea's Romelu Lukaku has just got back in the team as well. So there's a few players there that you can take a punt on, maybe even take a punt on with captaincy to make up ground in this final week of the season. You have to roll the dice at this point. And just remember, 21-22 has probably been the toughest ever fantasy season. We saw all those COVID postponements in December, so many double game weeks beyond that as well. It's been really, really tough. So if the season maybe hasn't panned out as you wanted, try not to get too disheartened. This season will always have an asterisk over it because of the disruption that we've seen. And there's always next season as well. So do not worry if the season has been particularly challenging for you. There's always next season. That's it from me then. Thank you so much to everyone that has supported FPL Hacks in its first season. It's been a pleasure to bring you these videos every week. If you have enjoyed this one, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And all that's left for me to say is good luck for FPL Game Week 38.